In the Central, the Guardians kind of stumbled their way down the stretch towards the All-Star break as they lost a series at the end and have dropped 6 of their last 10, but they've still got a healthy lead on the Twins, who are 12 games over 500, playing good ball generally. Their star Carlos Correa will take the All-Star break off. He's got plantar fasciitis. His feet are causing him problems, but his game has been very good this year. Then, of course, the Royals sitting there at a nice 7 games over 500 and 2 games out of wild card position. The Tigers have gotten hot, and they've won 8 of their last 10 to pull within 3 of 500 and start to dream. And the White Sox, who the Royals are going to see in a couple of series coming out of the All-Star break, they're bad again, losing 4 straight, 8 of their last 10. And they are at a .276 winning percentage so far this season. The Mariners haven't done much, but just enough to stay ahead of the Astros, who've played pretty good ball for a while, but can't quite seem to climb the mountaintop. They lost their last 2 before the break, but still winners of 6 of their last 10 and 4 games over 500, and just a couple games out of the wild card. They dropped the series to the Rangers over the weekend, and the Rangers have climbed back within 4 games of 500. The Angels have actually played pretty good ball for a little bit. They swept a series over the weekend, but they're hopelessly 14 games under 500. And the Athletics have been a pretty feisty bunch, for a while. And then they don't win a whole lot of games, but they win enough. They're not bad, and they can cause you problems. They caused the Royals problems recently, but still, they're a healthy 24 games under 24 games under 500, but they've split their last 10 and provide pretty formidable opposition from time to time. Over in the National League, the Phillies are doing enough to just cruise along and maintain their big fat lead over the Atlanta Braves. They're up by 8.5 over the Braves. The New York Mets at the 3 games over 500 level and in the wild card, 7-3 in their last 10. The Mets have played good ball for quite a long time now. The Nationals have been fighting, but they've kind of hit a little bit of a wall, dropping 6 of their last 10, and the Miami Marlins bring up the rear. The Brewers stumble into the break with 7 losses in their last 10 games. They've still got a big lead over the Cardinals, though, in the Central. Cardinals saw the Royals sweep them in a doubleheader. They've kind of bounced back from that, and they're in wild card position, 4 games over 500. The Pirates, they've won 7 of their last 10 and 4 straight to prove to themselves they are a contender and get back to 500. Cincinnati Reds have a record-setting rookie. There's things like that all around baseball, and that has fueled them to at least hang around in the race at 3 games under 500. And the Cubs keep sort of weaving back and forth. Are we in contention? Are we not? The Royals are going to see them soon, and so they're probably close enough that they're not going to be dealing. They've won 7 of their last 10, 4 games under 500. The Dodgers just haven't been very good for a while, but that doesn't mean overall they're not good, and they're going to be a factor in the postseason and all that stuff, but still, losers of 7 of their last 10. They're 15 games over 500. They clearly were expected to be the best team in baseball this year. They have not been that. Yet another team that's done a good job to get back into contention are the Diamondbacks. They're a game over 500. The Padres have stumbled a bit of late, but they're over 500. The Giants keep meandering anywhere from, 5 to 3 or 2 games under 500, but never far enough out to consider themselves dead. And, of course, somehow the Royals managed to drop a couple games recently to the Rockies, but they're not very good, bringing up the rear in the National League West. Well, let's talk a little bit of soccer. Well, let's talk a lot of soccer right now. It really had some amazing soccer to view over the last month, really. I mean, the European Championships, I watched some of the Copa America, certainly when the United States was there, and the final and the semifinals were entertaining, but you can't do everything. So I watched most of the games of the European Championship, and it was exciting theater. The fans were great. There wasn't any gate storming. There was just great action, patriotic displays, incredibly enthusiastic fans, and a tournament final that lived up to it, as it was Spain, which was the best team in the tournament the entire time, and they win the final, the European Championship, and they make it 3 championships in a row. They won the Euros, then they won the World Cup, or then they have done all of that, as a matter of fact, and they make it 7 championships or 7 wins in 7 games at Euro without needing penalties. Nobody's really ever done that. And it's Argentina who did the record-setting thing. So I'll get to them in a minute. I was getting confused there. Too much soccer. But anyway, Spain now has won the most European championships, breaking a tie with Germany. Mikel Oyarzabal struck an 86th-minute winner. It was 3 great goals in this game. 2-1, Spain scored first. Nico Williams with a goal. Then Cole Palmer had tied it up. And then Oyarzabal, it's spelled not like that, but that's his. He scored an 86th-minute winner. And then somehow England actually had 2 headers, one stopped by the keeper, one stopped by a defender at the goal line right at the death, or we would have had extra time and penalties in this one. And England, 1966 is the last time that the nation that has brought soccer, football, whichever you like, to the world has won a major championship. They've been in finals, they've been in semifinals, they've done all kinds of different things. They come up short again. So heartache for England, but really just tremendous entertainment in this tournament. It was really fascinating and fun to watch, and a great catch, to say the least. I mentioned Argentina. They're the team that has won 3 significant championships in a row, as they won the Copa America, and then they won the World Cup, and then they've won the Copa America again. This broke a tie with Uruguay for the most Copa American titles. A lot of the attention went on before the game, but the game itself was pretty entertaining, to say the least, even when Lionel Messi went out with a badly turned ankle. And then with a couple of players on their roster and playing who would retire after the game in tremendous fashion, including Angel Di Maria, it was substitute Lautaro Martinez scoring in extra time in the 112th minute to beat Colombia by a count of 1-0. It was at Miami. It was obviously more than a sold-out crowd. It was an entertaining game. It's just a shame that you had to wait almost an hour and a half for it to start. And it's just inexcusable to not have the things in place to do this. I mean, we saw this in the real world, and we see this in the world of just fun and games like soccer. And it was Argentina making history with a 1-0 lead. They could have really 3 of their most significant players on their team, Otamendi and Di Maria and Messi, all have potentially played their last game for Argentina. But if they did, they went out with a bang with an incredible 1-0 victory over Colombia. And Sporting Kansas City got themselves a win. They are winners in 3 consecutive games, 3 wins in 7 days, right at a time when they absolutely needed it, to say the least. They went and did what they're supposed to, which is take out a pretty horrendous San Jose team. Got a couple of nice goals in that game, and Sporting Kansas City gets the 2-1 victory, went up 2-0, gave up an own goal, but pretty much were in control from start to finish. They pulled within 7 games of the playoff spot. They'll play again on the road against Vancouver on Wednesday, but they get goals from Eric Tommy and Alan Polito, both really nice goals, and fun to watch if you were staying up late and hadn't had enough soccer already. And Sporting Kansas City gets the 2-1 win, so they got 2 MLS wins and a U.S. Open Cup win. They're in the semifinals of the U.S. Open Cup, and they beat San Jose, the only team right now that's worse than them in the Western Conference. But this little run here has provided some impetus, and you have to really give Peter Vermees a lot of credit, because I mean, they've been open about the fact that they're going to do a big roster reflush. They've got 17 players who are out of contract coming up after this season. And to do and motivate this team, many of whom were thinking, well, what's my future going to be like? That's pretty good work from Peter Vermees. Not surprising, because he is Peter Vermees. His powerful position at Sporting has only been reaffirmed, even as they bring in a couple of other people. But Sporting gets the job done with a 2-1 road result in San Jose. And so there's quite a lusty, robust soccer wrap-up, to say the least. Well, the Wimbledon Championships for the United States aren't what they used to be as far as viewership or interest, and that's kind of understandable, seeing as it's been now 84 tournaments since the last time an American man was in the semifinals even of a championship. And, of course, the world of men's tennis has been dominated by 3 players over a generation, and now we've got a changing of the guard as Carlos Alcaraz, who plays with enthusiasm and excitement and incredible skill in all facets of the game, put on an absolute clinic at the expense of Novak Djokovic, running him off the court in the first 2 sets and then proving feisty in the third set. Djokovic is a great champion, and he wasn't going to go down, certainly meekly, and he did not, forcing a tiebreaker in the final set. But in the end, it was too much Alcaraz drop shots, great serving, sliding shots, great ground strokes. I mean, he pretty much has it all, and tennis is defined by great runs of great champions, and because it's a sport where you have to play everybody head-to-head. And if Carlos Alcaraz is in the tournament, you can't win the tournament, basically, without beating him. Maybe you don't have to beat him. Maybe he gets beat, but most of the time, all roads are going to go through the best player or players. That's why it's hard to win in tennis, because you have to beat these people head-to-head. You can't just beat the field like in golf, and you really don't have to go to head-to-head with somebody. So the new king of the hill is Carlos Alcaraz, and that is well-deserved, to say the least. Golf features the final major of the year this week at Royal Troon. It will be the Open Championship, one last time it was played here in 2016 in an incredible shootout between Henrik Stenson and Phil Mickelson. And this is a True Links golf course, and although there's not True Links weather right now, there's supposed to be sort of linksy weather moving in for the tournament on Thursday. To me, it's always sensational viewing. I remember back in the day when you just had a fuzzy television. It was hard to watch the Open Championship because it was hard to see the ball. You were having a satellite feed, and it was cloudy and everything. That's obviously long since no factor. And you get to see the ocean and all of that great stuff that goes along with links golf, and great fans who understand the game remarkably. And what an hors d'oeuvre before the full meal of the Open Championship with the Scottish Open, which featured great stars, great leaderboard, great drama, and in the end, Adam Scott victimized by home countryman Robert McIntyre, who is from Scotland. He's about from 3 hours away from the golf course that they played it at, the Renaissance Club in Scotland, and he did it in incredibly dramatic fashion as he makes a long birdie putt at 14, then he makes an eagle on 16, and that came after he got relief because he's just marching around trying to find his ball in the weeds, and what he realizes is that his stance is on a sprinkler head. So instead of having a hack-it-out shot, he gets relief, has a shot, turns it into an eagle, then he birdies the last hole with a 20-foot putt to avoid a playoff and with Adam Scott, and he wins it, an emotional championship. He just won the Canadian Open a little bit ago with his father on the bag. Now that, an incredible bit of emotion. And this one, really his home championship, actually favors it as much as any major, although I don't know. He says that, but if he had the choice between the Open Championship and the Scottish Open, I don't know. I think he might pick the Open Championship. But anyway, I'm sure he's resting off an incredibly good time, celebrating a great victory. Rory McIlroy was in the mix in this one. I guess in some regards, you'd rather maybe not win the tournament right before the Open Championship or a major championship because it's hard to win 2 golf tournaments in a row. I don't know. Rory won this tournament last year and then played pretty well at the Open Championship. We'll see how it goes as he tries to shake off the collapse at the U.S. Open at Pinehurst. But an amazing story. Robert McIntyre winning on home soil for the championship at the Scottish Open. And as I said, I don't know how much I'm going to say about it, but the Chiefs go to camp this week. They got rookies reporting on Tuesday, and then it's about a month plus at training camp. Went out for some beers with Adam Teicher from ESPN. Of course, he has the Chiefs beat and last Thursday, and we had to squeeze it in before he goes off to camp and before all the Chiefs go off to camp. And there's tremendous excitement. Why shouldn't there be? The Chiefs are going for a three-peat. We're still a long way from actually playing real football, but you'll be getting a daily dose of Chiefs news if you want it, interviews and the like every day, and whatever training camp sensation there is, and guys saying that they're in the best shape of their lives, and the Chiefs dodging questions about some of the things that went on in the off season. So it all should be pretty interesting. But there, I gave you even a little bit more than I expected to do so with my conversation about Chiefs training camp, which starts up in St. Joe on Tuesday.